Hey everybody, Jeff here, and welcome back to the channel where we give you all sorts of world-class advice on remodeling your houses, your kitchens, your bathrooms, tiling. We cover all sorts of engineering disasters and tool reviews and shop with me through the big box stores. And today we have sort of an engineering disaster and a warning for you about certain parts that we're finding here. So I wanted to show you that this is a P-trap here that Home Depot's been selling for a few years. Now, when we first discovered this P-trap a few years ago, we thought, hey, this is the most awesome thing since sliced bread, and I'll tell you why. Because for the first time, you were able to get a transparent P-trap that you could see through here. And what made this even much, much better is the fact that it's transparent means now I can see my trap seal. So my column of water that's supposed to go from right here between my fingers here, I could tell if it was really there, and you could see what was going on here, if there was any leaks. You could see if food was getting caught in the pipes. You could make sure the water was going all the way through the P-trap, in and out. Is it self-scouring like it's supposed to be? Is the trapware settling right here like it's supposed to be also? So that was a great tool. I mean, beautiful invention here. So this is what we call ABS plastic here. Here you can see a better close-up view of it right here. So you can see it's clear ABS plastic as opposed to the white P-traps. So if you have seen any of our videos in the past, you may have seen us doing kitchen remodelings, and we've actually used these. You'll see these in some of our setups, and people are always commenting, hey, where did you get that? I gotta get that. That's really cool. Okay, so the problem is now we're starting to see failures with these things here. And I'll show you what we're seeing here. If you remember that video we did a few months ago where there was a leak in my friend's P-trap, and we had gone to fix it. We gave her a new one like this on there so we could see everything that was going on. Everything worked great for 2 months, not a problem. She calls me up one day, it's leaking. I go, there's no way that thing's leaking, because I do it perfectly. I install it perfectly. I always screw this part in first. This is the most important nut. You want to make sure this one's tightened before any of the other ones are, because this is such a critical connection right here. And so I get there, and sure enough, it's leaking there, and I go, that can't possibly be. So let me show you what we found. So here you can see we had unscrewed it up, and look what we found here. Look at this weird crack here. Not only that, the crack continues around the other side of it there too. See it? And let me show you from this side. You can see it much better there. See the two cracks there, and the one's really spreading out. Now, in that, we did a repair video on this, and I'll put a link to that video down in the description there, where we put another one of these here. Okay, so I said, okay, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe something went wrong with it. I'm going to put another one. Okay, no problem. So we had one that cracked. All right, maybe something went wrong. I don't know. So we replaced it with this one here. Okay. And so now we have this one here, and this one was doing fine until about 2 weeks later. She calls me up, Jeff, you're not going to believe it. This one is dying too. I'm like, you're kidding me. It's dripping again? Yeah. And I go, I know I did everything perfect because I don't use any tools to tighten it. When you have gaskets on either end here, there's absolutely no reason to use tools. I always hand tighten it, and I just go snug. Nothing forceful at all. There's no way I could have cracked it. So here's what we found. Okay, so there's the trap, and it seems to be running perfectly. The wear height is set perfectly here, and it is a downslope to that long pipe, the trap arm going into the wall. So the water's flowing, and you don't really see a leak, but I can feel a little moisture right around here on the trap seal nut right there. You can see it on the finger too. So we'll take off this P-trap here and take a look at it. So check this out. 2 weeks in, and look what happens to this guy here. Complete, total. The thing looks like it's ready to shatter. It looks like it's 30 years old, not 2 weeks old. And look how it looks like a chunk was taken out of the top of the threads there. I didn't do that. This thing was nice and perfect when I loaded. I mean, look at all of that there. Look at all of those cracks. And then over here too. See where my finger's pointing? You got one that's developing down there and coming all the way over here. That had absolutely nothing to do with me. So we finally went online and we started to check the reviews on this to see, hey, are we the only ones seeing this? And sure enough, we looked on Home Depot's website and we looked on Amazon for these transparent P-traps here, and we saw nothing but complaints. We saw complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint from different people, and occasionally you would get a response from the manufacturer saying something like essentially blaming the person. Well, if you over tighten it with tools, you know, you're gonna get it to crack and blah 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 blah. This was not over tightened with a tool, folks. This right here was gently hand tightened until it was snug, and I didn't go any further than that because there's no reason to, because this part right here is a compression fitting. That's a compression connection. These others here have gaskets, and the gaskets just tighten down. So there's a problem with their manufacturing process. There's something about this ABS plastic that seems to be failing left and right for a lot of people. And this is what can happen to some of them as they dry up. And you see how they're very weak on the creases of these accordions right here. See that? It's just very, very weak. So you want to make sure that you're not using one of these. This is why. They're banned by plumbing code. And I can't begin to tell you how many professional plumbers leave comments on my other videos telling me, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. They're allowed in my state. And no, they're not, because whatever state they tell me they're in, I bring up the code, and there it is. These are banned in all 50 states, and it's banned by the Uniform Plumbing Code. So I don't know of a single municipality that allows these things, and for good reason. The other reason is look at the inside of this thing here. There's all sorts of stuff in here. I got spider webs caught in there now. But what happens is all of your shavings and hair goes down in there, and it gets caught in these accordions, and it starts to clog it up. And by the way, because this is shaped like it is, it's not self-scouring, which is required by code. All P-traps are required to be self-scouring, which means it's got to be a smooth tube like this all the way through. So if you know anybody that's got one of these, and check under your cabinet to see if you have one. If you are using one of these, take steps to remove it and replace it with the proper parts that you build and cement together. Okay, so based on all of the failure modes we've seen to date here, I can't recommend this part. So if I was you, until you hear further from us here, do not buy this part from Home Depot. Okay, in fact, Home Depot shouldn't be selling this part either with the high failure rate that we're seeing here in the reviews from people. And you know, as I look back on this, come to think of it, I've had a number of failures with these over the years. I've had a failure back in 2016 when I installed one of these as well, too. Now, the interesting thing about it is, you're probably wondering, well, maybe it's you, Jeff. Hey, yeah, maybe you're screwing up, yeah? It's definitely not me, and I'll tell you why. Because, so remember, this is Everbilt, right? I use the white version all the time, okay? And I've never had a failure ever. So this is the white version that I use. I've been using this at Home Depot for years and years and years. Same company, Everbilt here, okay? The only difference between the white one and the clear one here, see, the white one is polyethylene pipe. So this is a polyethylene tube being here. This one here is ABS plastic. Now you figure, well, what's the difference? They're both a type of plastic, you know. ABS is what they use in California. You use a black version out there if you're in California and you're watching this. You folks use a black ABS plastic piping out there. So what's so different about this? Is there something about the ABS plastic in this formula that it's susceptible to either the chlorine in the water from the water treatment facilities? Is it susceptible to the sewer gases coming up? What's the deal with this? Why are these breaking left and right? These I've never had a single problem with ever. See, look at them both side by side here. They're exactly the same thing, just a slightly different material here. What could possibly be going wrong with this one that isn't happening with this one here? Both of these are made in China, so that's why it's not surprising to me that we're getting these failures. I don't know what's happening over there, but I can tell you years ago when I was an engineer at Motorola, we had problems with manufacturers in China, and a lot of times we had to send people over there to show them how to even solder. So yeah, manufacturing is a big problem in China. We don't know if it's the formula, is it the manufacturing process, or is it something else? Okay, now you know me, I'm an engineer, and I want to get to the bottom of this, folks. I want to find out what's the root cause of this problem here. So I went out and I bought 3 more of these from Home Depot. And I know what you're thinking, Jeff, are you nuts? You're going out and you're buying a bunch of these after you told us not to buy them? I'm like, well, yeah, first of all, I am nuts, yeah. But what I want to do is, with a little test here, so I'm going to take these 2 loose and just dump them into a bucket of water here. And then I have this one here that I have already put together, and you can see, I'm going to show you, and I'll leave it alone. So here it is loose, right? I'm just going to hand tighten it snug like I normally do when it's in place, just like that. See, nothing big, nothing fancy. Didn't over tighten it or anything. And I'm going to take this and stick it in the tub of water also with it. Okay, so I have this dish pan here. And so what we're going to do here is I have the fully assembled P-trap here. I'm going to drop it in. And then I'm going to also drop in all the other parts here from 2 other pieces here. And we're going to pour in regular municipal city water that's been treated with chlorine, you know, the regular chlorinated city water. And we're going to fill this up with water, and we're going to let it see if over time these just crack on their own. See, this one here is under stress right now. He's under that compression stress from the nut here. And I want to see if that's causing any problem, that in the combination with the chlorinated water. Now, we can't duplicate the sewer gases coming up from the sewer here. So that's all we can do is just soak it in water. Okay, so I'm going to fill this up with water here. And this can take weeks, it could take months, we don't know. We're obviously not going to get to the bottom of it in this video here, but I just wanted to set it up for you to show you what we're going to do. And we'll come back on another video once we have our results to see if anything happened to this. Okay, so now we are adding the other parts in here, and here goes the big pre-assembled P-trap that I just put together. So by letting these soak in here, this is regular tap water from the kitchen sink, we're going to let these sit in here for days and days and weeks until we see something happen. So we'll come out and we'll check on it every couple of days. We'll come back here and examine it. And see, this is why we got these in the first place, because look at this. This is how your trap seal is supposed to look. So under normal conditions here, this thing stays full of water all the time when it's under your sink here. And then this is the trap weir, and it's supposed to be slightly angled down towards the wall there. Okay, so this junction here sits underwater all the time, and we're going to see if that is what's affecting these things, the chlorination in the water. That would be my guess. Well, I hope you're finding this video useful so far, and if you are, hey, do us a favor, please. Give us a thumbs up down below. That lets us know that you like us. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hey, why not? Hey, make sure you go ahead down below, click on that subscribe button. And when you do that, there's that little gray bell icon next to it, and click on that. And why is that so important? Because right when you click on it, you can tell YouTube right there, it says, let me receive alerts from this channel. And that's what you want. That way, every time we upload a video, or if we do a live stream, you'll know about it. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.